I don't know if I said this yet, but I'm literally going to be rebuilding this camper pretty much from the ground up. Every single screw, every component in this camper needs to be replaced. The only thing that I'm going to keep that's original, more or less, is the fiberglass shell. That's it. Everything else is going, and I'm having to rebuild it from scratch, which is it's a really daunting task, and it's gonna be expensive. For the money that I'm gonna have to pour into this thing, I could have bought a brand new camper. Might have to just cut up the butyl tape and the sealant that's going around the perimeter of the door first. You know, even though this thing has a fiberglass construction, that mitigates a lot of the potential leaking spots. But at the end of the day, there's still windows, there's openings for doors, there's all kinds of things that get cut out that get sealed with silicone, caulk, butyl tape. These are wear and tear items that need to be maintained regularly over the years. Otherwise, you're just gonna get leaks in those areas. Sure, you might not get as much as like a wood and aluminum camper, but it's not completely foolproof. Maintain your campers. So it looks like with my little pry bar here, I'm able to start separating the door from the door frame. So I guess the butyl tape is still just hanging on. So we're gonna have to go around, start to wiggle it free. So even though all the screws are out, and technically the door should be able to get pulled off, all of the butyl tape that's in here is still clinging to the actual fiberglass shell. So I'm just going in with this pry bar, trying to get a little bit of separation. That way, once I get enough, I'll be able to just pull the whole door off at once. Man, you know that butyl tape really has a good bond. Oh, there we go. There. Okay, I think that freed up a good portion of the door. Come on, baby. There we go. Woo! There we go. What a mess. And there's all of the leftover excess butyl tape still hanging on there. What a mess. Now that the door is gone and out of the way, you can really just see the extent of the water damage that was caused most likely by all of those gaps in the silicone that was around the door. You see the wood floor, or the subfloor right here, is just completely rotted. All of the wood on the framing of the door is completely rotted as well. Terrible condition. Terrible. Look at that screw that still didn't come out. It's just completely yellow and rusted. Yeah, without a doubt, the entire door frame, all of the wood is gonna have to come out and get replaced with new, fresh wood. Oh! That's exactly why I bought 2 of these. So I got all the butyl tape off, but as you can see, there's all this residue that's still left over. So now I'm just gonna go in with these mineral spirits and get all of the residue off and clean it up as best as I can. Now I pointed out earlier how rotten a lot of the wood in the door frame is, so I'm gonna go ahead and just remove the entire door frame right now. First I thought that the door frame might just be adhered to the fiberglass, like a lot of the framing, a lot of the wooden framing is in here, but as it turns out, if you look on the outside here, there are screws mounting the wood to the fiberglass shell. Of course, the builders made it difficult, and there are 2 little screws right here holding on. And normally I would just yank the wood out because they're such small screws, but as you can see, the piece of fiberglass is so thin that I feel like if I pull too hard, this will break really easily. And this is what I'm trying to preserve. The only thing I'm trying to preserve, so I don't want to break that. But I think I have an idea. There it goes. If you look how thin and flimsy the layer of fiberglass actually is, you can see why I was being very careful not to start just yanking on it, trying to get the screws out, or trying to get the wood to detach from the fiberglass, because this would have been super easy to accidentally crack or break or whatever. So this is the hole where the propane cabinet was, and along the outside there's actual silicone, whereas around the door, I don't think it was silicone, I think it was just like a normal, it was another kind of caulking. So I found that using this style scraper, this one specifically, it's a much harder plastic than something like this. So this one I was having a hard time trying to scrape off the silicone, but with this, it seems to be coming off a lot easier. So this might be the way to go if you're trying to remove silicone from fiberglass at least. So it just occurred to me that a lot of the screws that were holding the cabinets in place were literally just screwed into this board insulation. So that means that a lot of the support that the cabinet found stability in was literally just this foam insulation material. So next I'm just going to be taking off all of the jacks so that way I could take the brackets off. I'm going to be getting new brackets fabricated where the camper actually ties down to the truck. And then all of the corner jack brackets, I'm going to get them sandblasted and repainted. That way they look nice. And then I'm also going to replace some of these old rusted out screws as well. See how these brackets are all old and rusty and the paint's chipping? They look terrible. So that's why I'm gonna go get them sandblasted and repainted. Also, all of the hardware, all of the screws are just, well, these ones, oh yeah, these ones are pretty bad. Some of them are worse than others, but all of the hardware and the screws are all old and rusty as well. And given the fact that some of the screws I was finding inside were literally just shearing off and they were breaking and disintegrating because they were so old and rusty, it doesn't make me feel confident about these ones. So new hardware is definitely in order. I've been trying to pry the mount off, and although all the mounting screws are taken off, this thing is super stuck onto the fiberglass. So I don't know if I'm gonna be able to take it off. I even got a knife and kind of wedged it in up here thinking that once I broke that seal, it would pull off easier. But I think they must have used some kind of construction adhesive to seal the actual bracket onto the camper, which makes sense because these brackets are supposed to support the weight of the entire camper, but it's making it quite tricky to try to take these off. So I don't know if I'm gonna be able to. I think I'm gonna leave it for now, and if you guys have any suggestions on how to get these off, feel free to leave them in the comments down below. For now, they're gonna stay, and I'll try to figure out something and take some time to think it over. Here comes the fun part of removing the insulation. I'm gonna start off with the bottom because I'm gonna wanna take off and replace the bottom insulation anyways, especially to get the subfloor out. It's gonna be a lot easier if the insulation is gone. So I'm gonna start there, see how difficult it is, and then I'm considering whether or not I want to remove the insulation from the rest of the camper. That's to be determined, but for now, we're starting with the bottom. Look at that. The chisel is literally wet from sliding it between the insulation and the wall here. So that means there's just water even back here on the back side of the insulation, which is crazy. After seeing what a pain it is to take the insulation off the fiberglass, I'm almost certain that I will not be taking off all of the insulation around the camper because that would just be a total waste of time. Now, you might be wondering why I wanted to replace the insulation, and mainly just because I feel like if I'm gonna be putting all new materials into this camper and building it from the ground up, I might as well put in new insulation. I feel like there's more advanced insulations out there nowadays that are probably superior to this insulation in terms of R value, so their actual insulating property, resistance to moisture, that kind of stuff. So I don't know, I have some thinking to do. I have a lot of figuring out that I need to do, a lot of strategizing. I have to kind of take a step back and really think about what I want to do, how I want to approach this, what materials I want to use, and then we'll just go from there. Something tells me that I'm not going to be done within the time period that I originally planned when I was renting this garage. So that's something else I have to consider. Part of me wishes that I would have never known and I would have just done a light renovation, painted it, made it look nice, but at the same time I know that that could have potentially been very dangerous, both while on the road and then also just dangerous to inhale whatever toxic, old, rotted stuff is sitting in that camper. I don't know. Got a lot of thinking to do. A lot of thinking and planning. That being said, that's gonna do it for this one. Thank you guys like always for watching. You guys go out there, go on some adventures of your own. Please go on some adventures of your own because I'm not gonna be going on any adventures anytime soon, so one of us has got to go on some adventures. I lost my train of thought where I was. You guys go out there, go on some adventures of your own. Live life, beat the status quo, y'all know the drill. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one. At least I'm not lonely here in the shop. I've got my best friend, the dog, over here. There's chickens, it sounds like there's goats. Got all the pals to keep me company and bounce ideas off of. Okay. I'm out of here.